Yeah, go ahead, Kumar.
Okay. Do you want me to go to the page or are you okay?
Yeah, I got the page. I can see contract user preferences.
Alright, okay. So next is defining contract status. Excuse me. So there are two different statuses. One is the processing status and the next one is contract status. So you can have a different, you can set a contract status as the way you want it. But if you are going to set the status proposed, it will be pending. In negotiation, it will be pending. So depending on the status, there are some certain actions are enabled or disabled that you can do on a contract. Excuse me. Just give me 1 second. I'll be back. Alright, so the next, there are a few statuses like letter of intent, signed or executed. So if you set, it will be actually pointing to active, and any of these, it means it's closed. So depending on the setup, the contract status, so this is what you can do. So if the status is pending, so you can edit the fields on a contract, and you can price. You can price it, you can change it, perform the pre-analysis only. So you basically can change the price. No other processing allowed because you have not set that contract active. So no edits performed because you haven't completed entering the data yet. So in active, if the status is active, then you can still edit the field, but only through amendment, contract amendment. You can process it once you set it active, and then when the edits are performed, that will validate the data that you have entered. And the next status is closed, and you cannot edit the data, and you cannot process anything. And then edit performed, validating other contract components. So, closed means like edit performance, like you cannot process. There is no validation of the other processing. So these are the things that you can or cannot do when your contract status are in these states.
Kumar, what is the superseded status?
Which one?
Superseded.
Superseded, that is the status, one of the status.
What does it mean by that, superseded?
It's a user defined status. They can set superseded means like, I think cancel terminated, superseded. I'll give you a definite answer. I don't want to. So I'll let you know. But it is equivalent to a closed. These are all like defined status. I'll let you know. You have any other question on this?
Can we see that setup online?
No, this is when we enter the contract, right? We'll see the statuses.
Okay, these are the different statuses of the contract.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, statuses on the contract.
Okay.
These are all delivered ones, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay, so when we enter, maybe we can go on to contract and see. Hold on, before I proceed to the next one. So this. So if you look at this, there's a processing status and the contract status itself. So here you can play around, means like you can only use the deliver, but you see a lot more statuses over here than here. Here you can only see only 3: pending, active, or closed. Okay, so but you can change, because this is a verbiage that you can use to actually, as far as the business users are concerned, they would want to know, what happened, like, whether it is cancelled or closed, things like that. They can choose it, and then for them, they know what happened to the contract, but internally the processing status means it's closed, whether it's cancelled or, any other user
Kumar,
status.
Kumar,
Yeah.
in the contract, functionally, when can I close the contract, or when contract is supposed to be closed?
Well, contract is supposed to be closed when you fulfill the contract. Meaning, you have a contract to, let's say, deliver a project. So within that, delivery means like you have lots of many lines, contract lines, where it says, example would be like requirement gathering, development, testing, and implementation. Okay, these are all the lines you have, and once you fulfill it, once you bill it, once the billing is completed, then you can close it.
So if I want to renew the contract, so
Yeah.
can I renew the contract if it is closed?
Can you renew the contract for the closed contract?
Yeah.
Once you close it, do not think you can set it for pending.
I mean, in future, if I want to renew the contract, then I'm not supposed to close. Or
See, there are ways you can do that. There are ways you can just copy it. You can copy the contracts from another contract, which is possible. If you want to continue, in that case you copy and then start the new contract with all the information that you have on a contract. But after closing, you want to renew a contract. You can renew partially if it is in processing status. You can renew it. You can amend it. You can do all those things. But after it's being processed and all the line items are fulfilled and closed, I'm not sure you can rename it, but I'll confirm that here.
Okay. And how can I close the contract? Is it just like selecting the status here and save?
Yeah, but of course it's going to check uh, the other status when you are doing it, and then depending on the status, it'll give you, it'll allow you or it will not allow you to close it.
What all things will be validated here when I'm closing the contract?
It will validate and give you a warning, like the lines are like still in even lines have its own status, right? Like if you go to the line,
Yeah.
there is one status like active, pending, cancel, things like that, right?
Yeah.
So it'll validate, and then based on these line status, and it'll give you a warning, and then you can cancel it if it's not fulfilled. That's also considered as closed. If you're able to fulfill the entire contract, you can close it.
Mhm. So what are the different statuses for line?
Different status?
Of lines? What are the different status in the line we have?
Active, cancel, and pending.
So here, I mean, what are you saying? I mean, if I'm closing the contract, so line status is cancel or active. I mean, what is going to validate? That's my question.
I'll show you one thing.
Because we have billing plan, status at the billing plan also, I think, right? And revenue plan.
Yeah, like see, within a contract, what is it, billing?
Other than line, we have status, I think, at the billing plan and revenue plan also, right? Will that come into the picture
No,
when I close?
billing plan has got the, doesn't have any active. Like billing plan, you are just attaching to a line. It's one of the attribute of a line. That's it.
So you are saying that when I'm closing the contract, it's just going to validate just the line status, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bill plan has got nothing to do with the status. Bill plan just tells you this particular line, how you're going to be billed. That's it. Only the line has its own status. That's it. So like other example, sold to customer is one of the attribute of a line. Administrator is a line. Things like that. The contract type is an attribute to a line. But for the line, you have active. This is status for that line, not for a particular line. Make sense?
Yeah. Okay.
The defining contract type. Here you can actually set up a new contract type. This contract type, basically what it does, it helps you for generate a reporting by contract type, and then the limits the group of contract to which milestone can be applied. So when I discuss explain the milestone setup, I'll tell you like it basically goes by contract type. So it helps you narrow the group for milestone. And then the other usage of contract type is you can associate a product kit, and then when you actually enter a contract, products as part of the kit will be added to the contract line page. So that these are the purposes of contract type. And this is where the contract type is set. So we'll go to the page and then verify. So this is the navigation for that. So you can set up any contract type that can be used in either for reporting or milestone or to set up a product kit. So I'm going to pull one example. So this is the all contract type. So it's basically it's a description and default product kit as I mentioned. So this kit is pulled up from product kit definition. So product kit is like for I've talked about a product. So product is basically a kind of a service that you do. That is a part of the line when you enter a contract line. So product kit is a collection or a multiple products combined into a product kit. That's what it means. So these are all the product kits that are defined in the system now.
Kumar,
that's where the data is put up. Yeah.
where do we specify this product kit, like the definition for this product kit?
Definition, I'll show you. It's under it's in product definition page. I'll show you now.
Okay.
See, this is where we set up the product. So when we discuss about the product definition later, we'll go to this page and discuss. And but this is where the product is defined, and also the product kit. If you select this, it's going to show you only the product kits definition. So if I select any product kit, it's coming, it's loading, it's a big component. I think it is loading. Okay, so this is the product kit definition. Even though it says product ID, it is product kit because the checkbox is checked as product kit. And then since it's a product kit, then the definitions are something similar to the product. And here you set up, you attach individual product to the kit. So this is the product kit, this is the individual product, that's called component. So individual product to a kit. So you have, like, if you click this one, it will take you to the product definition page again.
Okay.
See? So it takes you, this is a product and it has a product kit definition. So if you see this one, the product kit checkbox is not checked because this is a pure product, it's not a kit. So when we discuss about the product, we'll go over these options, especially the pricing for the products. But this is where the product kit and products are set up.
Okay, fine. Thanks.
Okay. All right. Then the contract type. We are on contract type, right? So as I mentioned, this is where the contract type is set up. And the simple description and product kit, when if you mention the product kit, it will when you enter a contract and you specify this particular contract type, you will see the product kit on the line. It will be automatically populated with this product kit. So that's the another purpose of contract type. Any questions so far?
No, Kumar.
Okay. And then the contract classification. Okay. The contract classification is again a setup. I mean, like uh, on a contract. Depending on the setup, contract classification, your contract page will differ. So the fields on the pages will slightly differ based on your selection. If it's a standard, it's a standard contract. If it's internal, means like it's a contract for inter-unit billing. And if this classification is government, it will have other features related to the government contracts. And then if the classification is federal reimbursable agreement, it will have its own fields. So classification is used for this purpose only, because it hides unhides the fields depending on the requirement of a contract. The government may have their own clause, and they have different field value capturing requirements. So the page is customized in such a way that there's a field level security attached to this classification.
So, for example, Kumar, if we say the standard contract,
Yeah.
so what all fields will be enabled or disabled?
That specific government, we have to look at, we have to actually enter and see it, the fields.
Okay.
We'll create a new contract and then we'll check all those variations when we do create a contract.
Okay. So is there any setup for that? I mean, how the system will identify which fields to be enabled or which fields to be
This is inbuilt, since it is given as a classification. It is inbuilt functionality, delivered functionality, in other words.
Okay.
I mean, what I mean to say is you don't have to do any customization for that. It is delivered. So based on the classification, it filters or hides or unhides, depending on the classification, and displays the fields for the user to enter. But we'll go over when we actually create a contract. We'll just select different classification and then see it.
Okay.
But if you want specific fields, I can, during the discussion of contract creation, I'll explain this. What are the fields that are specific to certain classifications. We'll discuss that.
Okay.
And then the transaction identifier enables you to refer to a group of project transactions for applying transaction limits and tiered processing. So this identifier used for basically for pricing.